Welcome to the Total Health Podcast, brought to you by Total Health Nutrition Center of Menominee Falls and New Berlin, Wisconsin. Join Total Health founder Martin Johnson and his guests as they discuss some of the most prolific topics in natural health. Listen now as him and his guests talk about how to take back your health naturally.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. My name is Kristine, and I'm one of the healthcare practitioners at Total Health. Today I'm going to chat about the hypothalamus and weight loss. Often weight loss concentrates on food intake and making some dietary shifts, which is of course very important, but I'm going to talk a little bit more how the hypothalamus is involved in that. So again, when talking about weight loss, we need to look at the big picture in order to get to the root cause of the weight gain and or weight loss resistance. And often an overlooked factor is the optimal functioning of the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus is often referred to as the master hormonal system organ, which affects the function of the pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid, adrenals, and the ovaries or testes. And this gland affects them both directly and indirectly. It is a small gland at the base of the brain, which is about the size of an almond, located in the middle of the brain, right behind the eyes. So what happens is within the hypothalamus, there are nerve cells that, when activated, produce the sensation of hunger. In close proximity to these cells are another set of nerves that, when activated, switch off the sensation of hunger. Our desire to eat is determined by which of these two types of nerves dominate at a particular time. So what controls the activity of these nerve cells and decides which group prevails, and either makes us hungry or suppresses our hunger? There are at least 10 different hormones that can influence hunger. Some include leptin, insulin, and ghrelin. Of these, 6 come from the gut, which include ghrelin, which actually is the hormone that makes us hungry. The other hormones have been shown to reduce hunger, in addition to food consumption, of course. Once the stomach is full, it reduces the desire to eat, both by lowering ghrelin and by sending a message to the hypothalamus that says, okay, I'm done eating now. The nerves in the hypothalamus respond accordingly to these circulating hormones and nutrients. In addition, the hypothalamus also receives signals from message pathways that use feel-good neurotransmitters, such as dopamine and serotonin, which they can also influence eating behavior. A lot of these neurotransmitters are produced in the gut by your microbiome, which are your beneficial bacteria. If the gut is healthy, guess what? You get the proper amounts of neurotransmitter production, and in turn, your hypothalamus receives the correct signals that it needs to function properly. The hypothalamus plays a key role in energy balance and metabolism as well. Not only does the hypothalamus control thyroid hormones, which play a significant role in regulating metabolism, but it also directly influences appetite through sending and receiving signals involved with leptin, insulin, and ghrelin. Thus, the hypothalamus involves 2 of the major signaling pathways involved in energy regulation, and so dysfunction can lead to obesity and associated disorders. So I'm just going to speak a little bit about dysfunction in the hypothalamus. And there are many things that can interrupt the working of the hypothalamus. Things that interact with or impact the hypothalamus and can disrupt normal function include inflammation. And inflammation can be caused from food, emotional stress, chemical and heavy metal toxicity, which are just a few. Also oxidative stress, and mild to moderate reduction of neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine, as well as certain addictive drugs like opioids. Another thing to consider is that the hypothalamus is a part of a negative feedback loop in regulating many hormone glands. So if your downstream hormones are high, then they will tell the hypothalamus not to signal the pituitary to stimulate these glands. This is a normal part of physiology and maintaining balance, but in a state of dysfunction, this negative feedback loop could cause issues. Luckily, there are some easy things you can do to correct some common causes of hypothalamic dysfunction and keep this important part of your brain healthy. Of course, weight loss and weight regulation relies heavily on a healthy diet. This includes a high intake of vegetables, some fruits, clean sources of protein, and minimal grains. You have probably heard many reasons to avoid the standard American diet, also known as SAD, which is a diet consisting of mainly refined, processed foods with lots of trans fats. Processed foods such as candy, boxed or instant foods, and your typical snack foods actually contain chemicals that are known as obesogens. And after eating these types of foods for several years or even decades, these can cause reprogramming of metabolic set points and cause dysregulation of hormones. These chemicals found in food, as well as trans fats, also cause inflammation. As you reduce the intake of these foods, you reduce inflammation and the associated metabolic dysfunction. This can help you lose weight and reduce your risk for metabolic disease, including insulin resistance. Holistic Health is an excellent resource to explore when you need help with the weight loss, as the SAD diet is not helpful when one is trying to become healthy and lose weight. At Total Health, we educate people on what to eat and why. A healthy diet is fundamental in weight loss and maintenance of a healthy weight. Managing stress is another way to keep your hypothalamus happy. Consistent chronic stress causes the hypothalamus to send messages to the pituitary gland to tell the adrenals to release cortisol. When cortisol is released on a frequent basis, it actually inflames things, especially the brain, where the hypothalamus is located. Chronic stress is very detrimental as it affects the whole hormonal system through the hypothalamus. Another easy way to minimize inflammation in the hypothalamus is exercise. One study found regular to moderate running on a treadmill to a reduction in hypothalamic inflammation in mice. To achieve benefits, the mice did not even have to meet the normal threshold for benefits to memory and learning, which had been set at 0.5 kilometers per day. Instead, the mice in the experiment exercised just 0.15 kilometers per day. There was also a reduction in the activation of microglia, which are cells activated by the inflammatory cytokines that further release more cytokines. For humans, a good streamlined workout for at least 30 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week may be sufficient. This is another area where your holistic health provider can help you incorporate the right types of exercise to fit your personal needs and goals. Also, another way to help keep the hypothalamus happy is detoxification. Many of us have a lifetime of stored chemicals and heavy metals. Over time, these items can cause a multitude of problems as they bioaccumulate in the body. These are often stored in fatty tissue, and by the way, your brain is approximately 70% fat. In some cases, in order to lose weight, one may have to detox first, in addition to supporting the hypothalamus with targeted nutrition so that it may function well again. This is another way another area where your holistic provider can help you navigate around. If you're wondering if your hypothalamus is the reason why weight loss is so difficult, please give our clinic a call at 262-251-2929 to schedule a 10-minute complimentary call with me so that we can address your health concerns. Thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully we'll get to speak soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Total Health Podcast. If you're ready to take the next steps in taking back your health, please give our office a call at 262-251-2929 to claim your no-charge 15-minute phone consult to see what next steps could be. Also, if you'd like further information, please see us online at www.totalhealthinc.com. Thanks for listening.